Are we ready? Good afternoon. My name is Regina Pisa. I am the chair of the Board of Trustees of Simmons College. I welcome you to Simmons' 110th commencement ceremony, 110 years of Simmons graduates. That is a wonderful record. Today, we congratulate and honor the doctoral and master's degree and certificate candidates who are graduating, as well as all of you, family and friends, whose labor and love have made this day possible for our graduates. I'd particularly like to recognize the families of the graduates who have often made significant sacrifices to make today possible. Would the family members of our graduating students please rise to receive our recognition and applause. Thank you. The pursuit of learning is one of the oldest of human endeavors. In fact, these commencement exercises have their origins in ancient rituals. Members of our college community are clothed in caps and hoods and gowns, a tradition which evolved from academic costumes worn by faculty and students to keep warm in the drafty classrooms of colleges in medieval Europe. The colors of robes and hoods signify the degree earned by the wearer, as well as the institution which granted the degree. The trustees of Simmons College are proud of your accomplishments. We are confident you will carry the name of Simmons into your professions and communities with distinction, dignity, and pride. Congratulations. Now, please join me in welcoming Helen Drynan, the 8th president of Simmons College.
Thank you, Regina. I am delighted to add my congratulations to you, our graduates, and to your families who've done so much to support you in your endeavors. That's right, you can applaud them. You have made us all proud of your scholarship, and we know that your intelligence, your idealism, and your success to date will stand you in good stead as you go forward from these days. These traits, combined with your Simmons degrees, will position you well as you continue your studies or more likely begin your careers. You will all do your part to create a better future for all of us, and we know that when we award you these degrees. We will be awarding 1,000 degrees today, and will award 1,500 degrees for the entire year. At this ceremony, I will confer your degree on behalf of the trustees and our faculty. Thank you to our commencement planning team and all of the commencement volunteers. Please stand now while Danica Buckley, director, leads the audience in singing America the Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Danica. We will now proceed with conferring honorary degrees. Simmons is proud this afternoon to honor two distinguished individuals. They will be presented by Jeffrey Turner, Chief Marshal.
I present to you for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Lawrence Prusak.
So we can take your photograph. You, Lawrence Prusak, have, in the course of your career, both deepened and broadened the field of knowledge management, exceeding your expertise in many, many ways, from NASA to organizations across the globe, through the Institute for Knowledge Management, to the thousands who have read your many books and articles in the field of organizational knowledge. Whether lecturing to students or dozens of universities or consulting across the world, you have worked tirelessly to help others understand and better manage their knowledge, helping all preserve their collective wisdom and live and work more efficiently and effectively. During your study of knowledge and learning over the past 25 years, you have published 11 books and over 200 articles, been named one of the 10 most admired knowledge leaders worldwide, and received awards from the Special Libraries Association, Organization Science, and many others. In recognition of your impressive contributions to the field of organizational knowledge, Simmons College bestows upon you today, Lawrence Prusak, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. We'll put the hood on first. And let's turn this way, Laura, and we'll turn you this way. Just move over one pad, Laura.
I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Letters, Deborah Z. Porter.
You good? Yeah. You, Deborah Z. Porter, have not only made a new tradition in our city of Boston, you have also brought us all closer together to share experience, discussion, and culture. Through the establishment of the Boston Book Festival in 2009, you created an event to celebrate both the written word and a community of readers and citizens. Where first it drew 10,000 people, the festival now brings 30,000 each year to the heart of Boston to connect with one another and with the books that stimulate and enrich us. Beyond this, you founded the One City, One Story project, further striving to create dialogue and fellowship for all by distributing free copies of stories each year to all citizens of Boston, in English and in Spanish. In a world where acts of violence are continually used by those who wish to divide communities, those who work to unite and inspire are especially to be lauded. In recognition of your deeply successful and ongoing efforts to build community and camaraderie in the city of Boston, Simmons College today bestows upon you, Deborah Z. Porter, the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Put your hood on. And if you could just step over a little bit, Debbie, so that Regina and I. This is for you.
Thank you so much, President Drinan. It is my great honor and privilege to be with you on this grand and happy occasion. Congratulations, graduates. I know how long and hard you've worked to make it to this day. I hope you do some serious celebrating tonight. As President Drinan said, I'm the founder of the Boston Book Festival. The Boston Book Festival has become part of the cultural fabric of the city of Boston. And every year we host many, many authors. We've hosted hundreds of luminaries, including Salman Rushdie, Herbie Hancock, Dennis Lehane, Joyce Carol Oates, Bill Bryson, Cornel West, Jennifer Egan, Atul Gawande, Junot Diaz, and many more, including Nobel, Pulitzer, Caldecott, and Newbery Prize winners. Next month, my team and I are launching another festival just for children called Hubbub. I'm proud of what I've accomplished. But here's the thing you should know. I was a late bloomer. And I don't mean a little late, I mean really late. I was in my mid-40s when I completed the master's program at the Center for the Study of Children's Literature. I was 47 when I started working on the book festival and 50 when it launched. I did some research on late bloomers, and it turns out that I'm far from alone. Julia Child's first cookbook came out when she was 49. Lois Lowry, the author of The Giver and Number the Stars, published her first book when she was 40. David Sedaris worked in obscurity until he made his debut on National Public Radio at age 44. Martha Stewart was a stockbroker until she started a catering business at the age of 35. And then there's everybody's favorite bloomer, late bloomer, Grandma Moses, who took up painting when she was 78 and became an international sensation. There are hundreds of examples of late bloomers, men and women in every field. I would like to share with you 5 things that I've learned from my late blooming career. Regardless of whether you yourselves are early, middle, or late bloomers, I think they may resonate with you. Number 1, knowing yourself can take time. It's a cliche, but it's true that nothing makes sense until you know who you are and where you're going. Early bloomers know where they're going from the start and pursue their goals unwaveringly. Late bloomers have less defined goals, so progress is much more incremental. It may even appear that late bloomers are going nowhere, but that's not the case. We simply take longer to get our act together. But just because the path is not straight doesn't mean you're going nowhere. Dean Simonton, who studies creativity, notes that there is one way of being an early bloomer, but there are many ways of being a late bloomer. In my case, I did a number of things in my adult life. I worked for a business research firm. I started a nonprofit working with inner city high school students that I ran for 11 years. I volunteered for a year at the zoo. I worked as a research assistant for a Harvard Ed School professor who was writing a book on the moral development of adolescence. I reviewed books for several publications. When I faced an impending empty nest, I started looking around for something bigger to do. And even though none of my previous experiences prepared me in any specific way for starting a large public literary event, nevertheless, I found myself for the first time in my life feeling in my gut that there was something that I was meant to do. Today, I can't imagine doing anything else. Closely related to this is the second thing I've learned. One thing always leads to another, but you never really know what that other thing is going to be. When I started the program in children's literature at Simmons, I could never have guessed that it would lead to me standing before you today. My motivation to be in the program was my love of literature and the importance that reading had for me as a child. I had no plan for what would come next. Now, mind you, I don't advise this as a life strategy, I'm just saying. While it was unclear to me what would come out of my degree in children's literature, it's safe to say that if it were not for the Simmons program, I wouldn't have thought of myself as a book person in any professional way, and I might not have seized an opportunity when it presented itself. The life of a late bloomer involves a lot of research and information gathering in preparation for some unknown next act. Number 3, your friends, family, and those you meet along the way are essential allies. The corollary to that is that it's not what you know, but who you know. Obviously, what you know is paramount. Otherwise, you wouldn't have spent all this time, effort, and money to continue your education. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't ask for help when you need it. One of the great advantages to blooming late is that you know a lot more people when you're 45 than when you're 25. I asked everyone I knew to help me, and many of them agreed. The truth is, though, that not even the 8 people who comprised my founding board thought in their heart of hearts that I was going to pull it off. But out of friendship, they agreed to help out. And remember the ed school professor whose book I worked on? He had started a program called Read Boston, and his close relationship to the late Mayor Menino meant that he was able to get me a meeting with the mayor, whose blessing of the project meant a lot when it came to pulling permits for the use of Copley Square. My husband was my volunteer design and production department, and for the 4 or 5 weeks leading up to the book festival, he worked full-time. Malcolm Gladwell wrote that the life of a late bloomer is highly contingent on the efforts of others. And when I say I couldn't have done it without my friends and family, those aren't just empty words. Number 4, luck plays a role. Shortly before the inaugural Boston Book Festival, I had breakfast with one of Boston's hardest working and grandest socialites, someone by the name of Smokey Bacon. When Smokey saw the list of authors who were appearing at the festival, she praised me for the great work I'd done. I started to reply, yes, I've been really lucky, and Smokey cut me off. She said, don't say you've been lucky. Only women ever say that. Men never attribute their success to luck. Well, fair enough. Point well taken. Some of it wasn't luck, but some of it was. But even when you get a lucky break, you have to be prepared to take advantage of it. Finally, nothing worth doing in life is easy. For a long while, it seemed like there would never be a Boston Book Festival. There were so many obstacles, like the legendary difficulty of doing business in the city of Boston and the recession that hit in 2008. On top of that, I didn't know the first thing about putting on a large-scale event. And many of the people advising me, although they were successful people, also didn't have a clue. It really was terrifying. One day, feeling particularly disheartened and lacking in self-confidence, I turned to my husband and said, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. And he looked at me and said, oh, yes, you are. The implication in his answer, and of course he was correct, was that I really had no choice. This was something I had to do. All the headaches, the wheels spinning, the false starts, the terror that it would be a flop or that something would go horribly wrong, All that's in the past, and the payoff was worth every moment of anxiety and frustration. The fact that there were many obstacles, both internal and external, made it all the more worthwhile. As you graduates go forth to begin the rest of your life's exciting journey, I'd like to leave you with words that are attributed to my favorite author, George Eliot, who herself was a late bloomer. She's believed to have said, "It's never too late to be what you might have been." If George Eliot did say those words, she stole them from a poem by Adelaide Ann Proctor, who, as it happens, was an early bloomer. Anyway, Proctor wrote, "No star is ever lost we once have seen. We always may be what we might have been." Congratulations again to all of you. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the best as you go forth to become what you are meant to be. Thank you.
We now begin the conferring of degrees. These degrees are voted by the faculty and the Simmons College Board of Trustees and granted by the authority of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. When your degree is announced by the marshal, please stand. Remain standing until I have conferred your degree. Following the conferral of all degrees, please come forward to the stage.
Will the candidates for the Master of Arts and the Master in Public Policy please rise?
President Drinan, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences, I have the honor to present to you for the degrees of Master of Arts in English, Master of Arts in Gender and Cultural Studies, Master of Arts in History, and Master in Public Policy, these candidates who have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residence required by our faculty.
I hereby grant you the Master of Arts and the Master in Public Policy degrees and declare that you are entitled to all the rights, privileges, and dignities pertaining to those degrees. Will the candidates for Master of Arts and Master in Public Policy please come forward to the stage?
Master of Arts in English, Carol Estella Harper. Imani Powell.
Master of Arts in Gender and Cultural Studies. Dana Ahern. Mandy Bauer. Danielle Funk. Caroline Kovacs. Sarah Fawn McLean. Kat Michael. Heather Ann Mooney. Roxana Villalobos. Teresa Mary Walker Ray.
Master of Arts in History, Olive Claire Brown.
Master in Public Policy, Cynthia Obiama Aziani. Sarah Elizabeth Hewitt. Lydia Ann McIntosh.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children, Master of Arts in Children's Literature, Master of Science, and Master of Arts in History, and certificates, please rise.
President Drinan, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Library and Information Science, I have the honor to present to you for the Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children, Master of Arts in Children's Literature, Master of Science, and certificates in Digital Stewardship, Instructional Technology, and School Library Teacher Program. These candidates, who have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residence required by our faculty,
I hereby grant you the Doctor of Philosophy, master's degrees, dual degrees, and certificates, and declare that you are entitled to all rights, privileges, and dignities pertaining to those degrees. Will the degree candidates please come forward to the stage?
Doctor of Philosophy, Graduate School of Library and Information Science. Brenda Margareta Mitchell-Powell. Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children. Christine Reagan Davy. Allison Lynn Russell. Master of Arts in Children's Literature. Margaret Ellen Glover. Diane Marie Vestuto. Master of Arts in Children's Literature and Master of Science. Alec Brandon Chun. Catherine Elizabeth Merlin.
Master of Science, Graduate School of Library and Information Science. Susan Marie Alden. Victoria Burns Amarello. Corbin Miles Apkin. Sarah Ann Bannister. Druti Bhagat. Anne Grace Roberts Boniolo. Courtney Megan Bohr. Anderson Wentworth Boone. Sarah Nicole Breen. James David Britt. Courtney Elizabeth Brown. Amelia Julie Buccarelli. Yuji Kai. Emily Rachel Carta. Laura Christine Carter. Nora Alida Casey. Danielle Page Castelli. David Christopher Castillo. Grace Chan. Lindsay Karen Clark. Laura Aline Collard. Erica Monique Cote. Ariel Marlene Cushing. Margaret Emily Davidoff. Giselle Elise Deloc. Julia Rose Demir Grabanowski. Andrea Lynn Devlin. Gemma Doyle. Sonia Helen Droter. Heidi Ann Duffy. Molly Elizabeth Dunn. Jeffrey King Erickson. Kittle Keeley Wright Evanson. Duane Henry Faribaugh. Lauren Kelly Fitzpatrick. Lauren Ashley Forsyth. Teresa Ann Furbish. James Roger Garrett. Lillian Rose Germain. Catherine Eileen Gillespie. Sarah Frances Gunther. Rachel Elizabeth Henson. Kimberly Francis Hewitt. Joshua Brian Jasper. Caitlin Elizabeth Jones. Kendall Patricia Kidder Goshorn. Alice Krim. Nicholas Warren Lee. Jill Michelle Leibowitz. Julia Williams Logan. Can I rename? Nicholas Allen Long. Robert Anthony Larino. Amanda Diane McLeod. Leah Elizabeth Maroney Wagner. Nancy Lee Marzilli. Jessica Lynn Matera. Bonnie Marie McBride. Veronica Lynn McCarthy. Paula Marie McKinley. Allison Marie Musser. Lee Margaret Nallen. Molly Irene Ogrodnik. Takumi Ohata. Audrey Maldonado. Say your last name. Regina Lynn Pagani. Margaret Lizette Palmer. Gordon Norman Paulson. Anne Marie Pepitone. Julie Diane Petzold. Amy Eldora Rillinger. Melissa Ann Rockbert. Emily Jane Ross. Victoria Louise Rossetti. Kelly Janie Scott. Casey Ann Sheridan. Timothy Arthur Silva. Graham William Skinner. Kimberly Ann Skorupski. Jason George Smith. Kelly Marie Sparks. Joseph Elliott St. Germain. Catherine Rose Strong Stott. Ann Walt Stallions. Jeffrey Philip Stasniak. Julia Frances Stevens. Brittany Jean Strodney. Sarah Elizabeth Sullivan. Lisa Michelle Tarot. Emily Jane Taisiwang. Anne Margaret Hitchcock Thomas. Karen Ann Elizabeth Torrey. Catherine Agnes Turcotte. Lauren Ann Wallace. Timothy Ryan Walsh. Abigail Lizzie Walzer. Jill Ann Westover. Amanda Marie White. Elizabeth Ann Wood. Rachel Christina Woodring. Kayla Claire Zaremski. Master of Science and Master of Arts in History, Rebecca Lynn Baker. Bethany Megan Fair. Alexandra Claire Geitz. Mary Kate Guinan. Michelle Anna Interante. Jordan Michelle Jankozek. Melissa Beth Kaiser. Catherine Alberta Micah. Jared Carl Walski.
Will the candidates for the master's degree in the School of Management please rise?
President Drinan, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Management, I have the honor to present to you for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration in Healthcare, Master of Health Administration, Master of Science in Management, Master of Science in Communications Management, and a joint degree Master of Science in Communications Management and Master of Arts in Gender and Cultural Studies. These candidates who have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residence required by our faculty.
I hereby grant you the master's degrees and dual degrees and declare that you are entitled to all rights, privileges, and dignities pertaining to those degrees. Will the degree candidates please come forward to the stage?
Master of Business Administration, Deepika Darshan Bajrang. Deborah Dawn Bogwart. Lacey Ann Burnett. Cassandra Nicole Shamalis. Stephanie Lynn Costello. Cynthia R. Cuevas. May Wang Davidson. Jillian C. DeLibero. Amber Lynn Usibo. Lania Marie Johnson. Jill Karen Kaufman. Catherine Marie Keeman. Rachel Zoe Corman. Jenny Koo. Jessica Ray Legou. Jessica Ellen. Hannah Lynn Merrick. Nicole M. Mortimer. Suzanne Marie Malarkey. Elizabeth A. Pilgrim. Elise S. Porter. Firm Remedy Brown. Antonia Michelle Roberts. Whitney Kimball Rosenbaum. Regina Diane Ruggieri. Brianne Lacey Ryan. Marcy Lynn Slack. Sonia Taragonsidis. Veronica Viazova. Beatrice Michaela von Seckendorf. Ashley Virginia Hillman Griggs Windus. Amina Zahirovic. Yawande Antonia Massey. Master of Business Administration in Healthcare, Erin Beth Baloyne. Hesalandia Carvalho Ramos. Julie Ann Cronin. Sean Cuniff. Christine Ann Fitzgerald. Joanna Georgilus. Julie Ann Guthrow. Corina Marie McFarland. Cara Melonakis. Amy Elizabeth Maria. Guido Mush. Elizabeth Shannon O'Connor. Elizabeth A. Poiker. Tamara P. Pitts. Karen Ricketts. Master of Health Administration, Elaine Capucci. Gerald Stephen Greeley. Paul Thomas Jurgen. Kevin F. McNeil. John Keith Merchant. Garrett J. Misavec. Daniel Paul Moriarty. Stephen Cameron Ray. William Joseph Robertson, Jr. Juan Carlos Reutman. Deborah L. Smith. Gerald J. Taylor. Michelle Ann White. Master of Science in Communications Management, Gwen Wen Thuk Lee. Douglas Taylor McCleary. Master of Science in Communication Management and Master of Arts in Gender and Cultural Studies. Lindsay Kate Sloan. Kelsey Ann Truman. Masters of Science in Management. Sage Brooke Carboni. Elizabeth Ann Meyer. Simone A. Osborne. Christina Adriani Peltier. Amanda Ford Riley. Roya Saqib. Amira Oyer Sheikh. Adrian B. Sisko. Kimberly White.
Will the candidates for the doctoral degree, certificate of advanced study, master's degrees, and certificates in the School of Nursing and Health Sciences please rise?
President Drinan, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences, I have the honor to present to you for the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study in Health Professions Education, Masters of Science in Nursing, Master of Science in Nursing Administration, Master of Science in Nutrition and Health Promotion, and certificates in nutrition, sports nutrition, and didactic programs in dietetics. These candidates who have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residence required by our faculty.
I hereby grant you the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study, master's degrees, and certificates. Will the candidates please come forward to the stage?
Doctor of Philosophy, Health Professions Education, Teresa Felice Brown. Cheryl Ann Williams.
For the Doctor of Nursing Practice, Diane Marie Kempelin. Angela M. Krita. Amy Egan Dumont. Karen Mary Riley.
For the Doctor of Physical Therapy. I was waiting for that. Laura Marie Antonelli. Laura Elizabeth Barron. Justine Nicole Beauchamp. Lindsay Timms Bogner. Salvatore David Botero. Jennifer Elizabeth Cameron. Brianna Nicole Carey. Jillian Marie Champagne. Christina Maria Cozzoni. Danielle
Sarah DeSanti Bradley. Kaylee Elizabeth Duggan. Tasha Marie Fagan. Caitlin L. Farr. Stephanie Rose Franchos. Michaela Janine Gambali. Megan Eileen Harrington. Julia N. Cajun. Melissa Grace Kerouac. Kelly Ann Last. Catherine Dana Leonard. Sarah Elizabeth Linden. Erin Marie Mannion. Kelly Marie Masuda. Lauren Ashley Michelli. Shatal Merchandani. Kayla Ann Morris. Jennifer Lee Muse. Rachel Elizabeth Mullen. Samantha Olson. Heather Michelle Philbin. Caitlin Alexandra Ponte. Sausan Miriam Ramadan. Kelsey Ann Rock. Sage Elizabeth Small. Sarah Elizabeth Smith. Lauren Marie Sullivan. Emily Ann Winerka. Laura Elodia White.
Health Professions Education, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Study. I am pleased to announce Patrice Lamore. Hi, Natasha.
Masters of Science in Nursing. Natasha Ann Anaya. Elizabeth Ashley Berry. Jason Brantley Boyd. Daphne Rose Braden. Emily Alice Brown. Ayla Lewis Carr. Laura Catherine Casano. Kelly Burke Cristino. Christina Nicole Chancharulo. Rachel Marie Clay. Carrie Merritt Davison. Paige Elizabeth DeMembro. Megan E. Donovan. Lauren Mary Fernberg. Lauren Frances Fleming. Emily Margaret Flint. Kristen Marie Fowler. Paul Harrison Gould. Iris Elizabeth Gwynn. Chelsea Edith Hersey. Melissa Elizabeth Houghton. Brenda W. Hong. Caitlin M. James. Lady Thelma Wayata James. Bridget Marie Kelleher. Stephanie Ann Kubik. Rachel Frances Mandel. Gregory Marcellin. Beth Ashley Markins. Emily Sipe Marmaduke. Curtis Allen Mathis. Alyssa June McClurg. Marianne K. Meadows. Biana Korjeski Micho. Carol Jean Mulvaney. Elizabeth Jane Newton. Annika Nora Nunick. Lindsay Erin O'Sullivan. Okay. Caudelin Ann Mutkasa Oka Balama. Phew. Amber Pattisty. Sarah Holly Patterson. Clara Elizabeth Pedley. Joanne Emmeline Filippo. Marthe Jody Pierre. Tesfa K.E. Royster Porter. Jessica Moniz Romulo. Hannah Ritterhouse. Robin A. Sider. Shannon Ray Sprinkle. Scotland Holmes Sullivan. Phuc Tien Tran. Margaret Earl Turgeon. Ashley Nicole Wagner. Stacy Elizabeth Walker. Jacqueline Michelle Winan. Serena Shakiva Williams Casili. Adatone Okenla. Master of Science in Nursing Administration, Kathleen Ann Adams. Marnie M. Chavez Crowley. Maureen Cuniff. Sean Francis Fahey. Diana M. Gist. Melba Liz Ruby. Tracy Marie Lee. Gina Ann Murphy. Daniel James Nadwarny. Patricia Ann Paradis. Michelle Lee Shepard. Allison Grace Kinnan Small. Suzanne Teresa Chapuis Swedeen. Breed Pauline Walsh Lockman. Here you go, Nancy. Just throw some of these away.
Master of Science in Nutrition and Health Promotion, Bridget Ann Carroll. Dahlia Cohen. Colleen Marie Faltus. Jasmine Naomi Hanna. Linda Lay. Rebecca Marie Roberts. Master of Science in Nutrition and Health Promotion and Certificate in Sports Nutrition, Jennifer A. Hughes. Master of Science in Nutrition and Health Promotion and Certificate of Didactic Program in Dietetics, Jillian Marie Berry. Kathleen Murphy Bryan. Certificate of Didactic Program in Dietetics, Jocelyn Taylor Brault. Kathleen Busa. Okay. Celeste Thee Lay. Shannon E. Wheel.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Specialist in Education, and Master's degrees in the School of Social Work please rise?
President Drinan, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Social Work, I have the honor to present to you for the Doctor of Philosophy, Specialist in Education, Master of Science in Behavior Analysis, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Arts in Teaching English as a Second Language, Master of Science in Education, Master of Science in Mathematics Education, Master of Social Work, Master of Social Work and Certificate in Urban Leadership and Clinical Social Work, and the MSW and MBA dual degree. These candidates who have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residency required by our faculty.
I hereby grant you the Doctor of Philosophy, Specialist in Education, Master's degrees, and Certificates of Social Work. Will the candidates please come forward to the stage?
Thanks, Doctor of Philosophy in Social Work, Dr. Julie Ford Brown. Dr. Shauna Lynn Burke. Dr. Mary Leclue. Dr. Wendy Champagne Williams.
Specialist in Education and Behavioral Analysis.
Make sure he's not, there you are.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Tacita Alexander Porter. Mallory Ann Matthias. Master of Science in Behavior Analysis. Alicia Marie Barry. Kristen Nicole Bloom. Caitlin Brault. Kushbu Anna Chabria. Benjamin Clark. Margaret Biddle Guest Correa. Emily Elizabeth Croto. Alexa Ann DiSocio. Samantha Nicole Delano. Selena Mary Deshawn. Ashley Jennifer Ertel. Teresa Lynn Fiore. Jessica Rowe Gicano. Megan Elizabeth Glado. Caitlin Michelle Griffiths. Catherine Pearson Hathaway. Shannon Teresa Henney. Wenli Hong. Courtney Elizabeth Jameson. Sophia Morel Katz. I'm going to blow this. Fatty Kozomi. Melissa Isabel Clegg. Adam J. Corman. Desiree Nicole LaForce. Makita Claudia Laurent. Kelly Patricia LeBlanc. Nicole Marie Lemaster. Nicole Marie Levasseur. Elizabeth Ann Lacari. Amanda Christine Lincourt. Emily Mandel. Ariane Elise Mazur. Caitlin Marie McDonough. Daniel Philip Morgan. Jessica Lee Nadel. Sarah Jane Newton. James Patrick Noga. Maria Noriga. Samantha Ann O'Connor. Alexandra Oldershaw. Jamie Lynn Reed. Ariel Nicole Rayondo. Lauren Rose Riccardi. Maria Angela Ricci. Edward Edmar Sanabria. Ali Crowley Schroeder. Jenna Marie Snow. Christine Marie Sosi. Samantha G. Spazio. Catherine A. Strong. Samantha Rose Tardif. Emily Beth Walk.
Masters of Arts in Teaching. Christiane Marie Amstutz. Christine Elizabeth Began. Rose S. Bell. Yahira Campusano. Stephanie Marie Charles. Elizabeth Anya Conlon. Nicole Connolly. Lisa Contre. Erin Joan Fay. Amanda Ferrara. Alicia Marie Gauthier. Amber Heather Hall. Lisa Marie Oyechna. Abigail Lofchi Copel. Casey Julia Leister. Adrienne Bori Lee. Owen Michael Lewis. Regina Angela Martina. Lauren Rachel Middleman. Jennifer Lee Nye. Alex Dominique Pinocchio. Rachel Alyssa Lee Pooter. Amanda Marie Savage. Rebecca Julie Sawyer. Megan Elizabeth Winslow. Masters of Arts in Teaching and Masters of Arts in Children's Literature, Jillian Bailey. Masters of Arts in Teaching and Masters of Arts in English, Kristen Nancy Kelleher. Megan Elizabeth Phillips. Master of Arts in Teaching and Master of Arts in Gender and Cultural Studies, Amy Gramo. Masters of Arts in Teaching and Masters of Arts in History, Paula Tracy Lesser. Master of Arts in Teaching English as a Second Language, Greta Moore Phillips. Krista Lee Rogers. Amanda Ellen Slack. Cynthia Ellen Shoemaker. Jamie Yvonne Smith. Melissa Ashley Woolley. Master of Science in Education, Advanced Content and Pedagogy, Alice Kelly Ehrlich. Emily Brianne Lobeo. Master of Science in Education, General Education, Billy Hannah McDonald. Master of Science in Education, Special Education, Michael Robert Adams. Stephen Matthew Airy. Megan Barber. Rachel Elizabeth Bergeron. Cassandra Maria Bernier. Jessica Ellen Bishop. Cassandra Ann Bitzer. Tara Catherine Boyd. Amy Victoria Bradley. Marguerite Francesca Bryant. Anthony Samuel Bonomo. Lee Margaret Coloni. Natalie Ann Cavallo. Sarah Joan Siras. Nicole Elizabeth DiStefano. Samantha Leon Dennison. Cheryl L. Damasi. Elizabeth Amanda Dino. Samantha Jean Doucette. Caitlin Herta Drosty. Megan Elizabeth Ducharme. Marissa Lee Dugan. Renee Ann Duhane. Courtney Lee Eustace. Sienna Presley Evans. Jacob Benjamin Francer. Rachel Ann Gates. Anthony Michael Gesamondo. Rachel Lee Grollman. Abigail Steele Hammond. Emily Catherine Hank. Catherine Yvette Horn. Bridget Kelly Houlihan. Catherine Elizabeth Hurley. Ruchi Khanna. William Jong Kickham. Gretel La O. Renee Lynn Lamar. Daniel Ray Lapos. Amy Nicole Lecomte. Erica Jill Lewis. Christy Lesperance. Hillary Linehan. Talitha Linden Darrow. Sarah Colby Look. Margaret Marsu. Jamie Lynn Marone. Megan Lori Mason. Rachel Ann McCaffrey. Julisse Katrina McLaren. Brianna Paula McGee. Elena Rose Metzger. Jameson Ross Miller. Melissa Slate Moulton. Teresa Nemo. Sarah May Catherine Oringer. Rachel Suzanne Orsini. Kimberly Ann Bowler. Caitlin Elizabeth Keating. Christopher Hayden Jones. Antonio Margaret Pastor. Carolyn Angel Peterson. Michaela Christine Plaster. Beth Bethany Ariel Pine. Megan Sarah Reddy. Michael Arthur Charles Rizza. Allison Taylor Walsh Serpico. Catherine Virginia Seaforth. Margaret Siobhan Straub. Benjamin Michael Wantman. Nicole Ashley Warren. Caitlin Elizabeth White. Elizabeth Ashley Watovich.
Master of Social Work. Yeah, go ahead. Yay! I'll start in a minute. Yay. Okay. Sabina Nailovna Abusova. Thank you. Allison Earhart Allen. Regina Elaine Amarello. Eliana Golden Apotheker. Aliza Jenny Apple. Okay. Tanya Nicole Barker. Cassandra Elise Barrow. Kerline Bashton. Micah Aaron Bauer. Jocelyn Victoria Bollier. Jesse Blue Glass Begeni. Jenna Ann Bissonette. Susan Rose Blower. Amanda Blomberg Fowra. Did I do it okay? Okay. Nicole Lee Borasa Pratt. Jennifer Marie Boyle. Elizabeth Marie Braccia. Amanda K. Bright. Seth David Brown. Asher Pincus Bruskin. Caitlin Marie Bryant. Christy Lee Buck. Hi. Carolyn Ann Burke. Kirsten Kimberly Burns. David Thomas Caparelli, Jr. Sharnia S. Cardoso Doughton. Okay. Lisa Luciana Carniero. I can your mother. Sarah Elizabeth Castaneda. Andrea Alma Castillo. Casey Elizabeth Conlon. Catherine Claire Connors. Taryn Lynn Crutchfield. Akila D. Culbreth Britt. Eliza Lathrop Curtis. Brunelli Almeida de Gracia. Abigail Rose Smith DeMille. Thank you. Emily Gabriela De Felici Antonio. Catherine Ann Dowd. Arlen Brooke Eatman. Congratulations. Michelle Deanne Farrell. Emma Mae Fiji. Caitlin Ashley Finn. Sharon R. Giardino. Deborah Ray Goldfarb. Malakis Babit Baptista Gomes. Christina Ann Gonzalez. Rhiannon Maraid Gasho Snook. Did I do it okay? Thank you. Jessica Regina Grant. Sarah Mona Hodge. Kathleen A. Harrison. Emily Krista Hines. Lisa Jean Hoffman. Oh. Deandra Antoinette Howard. Caitlin Ann Iandoska. Excuse me. Deirdre Jimenez. Meredith Beth Jones. Hannah Abigail Katz. Catherine M. Kennard. Johannes S. Keating. Danelia Iris King. Max David Kraus. Tia LeBlanc. Teresa Marie Leach. Rebecca Wren Leafmeeker. Miriam LeBon. Mark Nicholas Leone. Jessica Estria Lepe. Sarah Leva. Nancy Layla Lowmiller. Susan Mary Love. Michelle Mara Lubowski. Zoe Lanier Lucas. Erin Elizabeth Lunn. Anne Elizabeth Mayer. Desiree Diana Maldonado. Simone Diana Martel. Jacqueline G. Martinez. Jenna Lee Matthews. Joanna Elizabeth Malbeck. Allison Emily Mazzoni. Amy Michelle McCarthy James. Shannon Elizabeth McComiskey. Mary McDonald. Erin Marie McNiff. Emily Rose Menard. Thank you. Danielle Joy Mendola. Cara Michelle Maurice. Jessica Lynn Mullen. Elisa Marie Munsell. Clashandra Ann Murphy. Laura Catherine Murphy.
Erica Jane Nelson. Sarah Sevenson Nielsen. Erin Elizabeth O'Shea. Wiedelin Odney. Elizabeth Ann Oliver. Lauren Alexandra Parker. Kevin D. Pelletier. Ashley Elizabeth Peterson. Wanti Fu. Elizabeth Mary Horlock. Alexis Swain Powell. Alexandra Christine Rose Pradas. Sandra Josephine Rago. Allison Renee Reed. Denise Reynoso. Julia B. Robbins. Meredith Sargent Rogerson. Stephanie Lynn Rohr. Franziska F. Rudorf. Purnima Sehgal. Vivian Tahiris Santiago. Ariana Shadzik. Sarah Corey Shapiro. Congratulations, thank you. Tracy Lee Sharbow. Cara Arezzo Slaby. Kathleen Ann Telford Stewart. Christine Elizabeth Sullivan. April Tavares. Jacqueline Ann Thomas. Mark Anthony Tiano. Oksana Maria Siklis. Maria Alejandra Valdovinos. Sabrina Vogelin. Sarah Michelle Wachter. Tegan Mallory Walsh. Kristen Marie Winth. Robert Jeffrey Whiteside. Kathleen Wilson Wally. Mariel K. Wren. Ilana Celine Zablo. Angela Marguerite Zayden.
Masters of Social Work and Certificate in Urban Leadership and Clinical Social Work. Girl. Natalie Colon. Ronald James Frost. Walter Raleigh Higgs III. Hannah Colt. Ine D. O'Gagan. Megan Ann Vandenberg. Claire M. Winship.
All of you who have graduated today. Thank you to all of our guests for being part of this wonderful afternoon celebration. Please remain seated until the academic procession has left the pavilion. Good afternoon.